This is the explainer on how the multi-model of match funding works. Before we go into a breakdown of each of the stages, it's important to understand some of the key terms that we'll be using. What is a pledge? A pledge is a contribution to a charity's match fund by their own network of supporters. This can include trustees, foundations, trusts, individuals, volunteers, whoever. And these are commitments of match funding from these people or organizations to the charity's match funding pot for their campaign. These pledges are unlocked through donations raised during the campaign. Pledges are sourced and relationships managed by the charity. What is a champion? Champions are big gives partners and they contribute to the match funding pot to charities' campaigns. A champion can include high net worth individuals, foundations, trusts, philanthropists, businesses. Champion funds are unlocked through charities raising online donations through their campaigns. Champions are sourced and relationships managed by Big Give. Online donations. The public can be any individual organization wanting to donate to a charity via the Big Give platform and have their donation doubled. An online donation made by the public during the campaign unlocks the charity's available match funds.
So when a charity starts a campaign with Big Give, you'll first go to the stage 1 initial application form. This form involves you telling us what project you're seeking to raise funds for. It's really important that before you start your application, you check out the campaign page on Big Give's website to understand the eligibility criteria for the campaign. For stage 1, we'll be seeking to understand what your campaign is about, what your targets are, aims, and any other specific charity details that will enable us to do due diligence on your applications. For multi-model campaigns, at the stage 1, you'll be asked to choose between 2 different models, either the 1-1 model or the pledge model. For charities who have chosen the 1-1 model, this is match funding in its simplest form. This is where all of the donations that you raise on the Big Give are doubled by Big Give's champion funders. So that means your total match funding pot is made up of champion funds provided totally by Big Give's partners. The important thing to note here is charities are not required to raise any of their own pledges to contribute to that match funding pot. Again, we would encourage charities to check out the campaign page before starting the application to understand how much funding they would be able to receive through the 1-1 model. Typically, this is a set amount of funding, usually up to £10,000, but again, this will differ depending on the campaign. We would recommend this model, particularly for charities who are new to Big Give or new to digital fundraising in general, as this is a great way to understand how the Big Give platform works, as well as how match funding could work for your organisation. We would also really recommend this for smaller to mid-sized charities, particularly those with, fundraising teams of 1 or marketing teams of 1 who have limited capacity and want to go for a slightly smaller target to enable them to do well in the campaign.
Under the pledge model, this is where charities' match funding pot is made up both by pledges, which are sourced by the charity, and match funding from Big Give's champions. Charities experienced in fundraising who want to have bigger targets should choose this model. It is really important to remember that pledges are match funds and they're used to match donations. The champion funds are not doubling the pledges. Both the champion funds and the pledges are both used to double donations during the campaign. It is also important to check how much champion funding you can apply for under each campaign's eligibility criteria.
For both charities, either following the 1-1 or the pledge model, once you get to the target section of the application form, this will be the last point in the application journey where you can switch the model you're on. So if you change your mind and you started with the 1-1 model but decide you would like to go back to the pledge model, you will be able to go back in your application journey and switch the model of the campaign that you're applying for. Once you've passed this section, you've locked yourself into the model you've chosen and will not be able to switch.
For the application phase for charities that have applied under the pledge model, once you have submitted your stage one application, you're automatically enrolled in the stage two phase. And this is where you're securing pledges for your campaign. It is really important to submit your pledges by the deadline as part of your application process. We greatly encourage early applications if you're considering applying for the pledge model to ensure that you have sufficient time to secure pledges by the deadline. Charities that have applied for the 1-1 model skip this stage and do not need to secure pledges at all. If you're, for any reason, struggling to raise your pledges, please get in touch with us directly.
Once the stage two application deadline has passed for those in the pledge model, all charities move on to stage three, which is vetting and notification. This is where Big Give reviews all of the applications in line with our eligibility criteria and does due diligence on each of the charities. For charities who have passed our due diligence, match funding offers will be given to charities by the offer deadline stated on the campaign page. The two examples on the screen show how the match funding pot for each model works. For the 1-1 model, as mentioned previously, all match funds are provided by Big Give's champion partners. For this charity, they've received £10,000 from their champion.
On the left-hand side, we can see an example of a charity that has applied for the pledge model. This charity has secured £20,000 in pledges, and they have been awarded £20,000 of champion funds. This means the charity has a total match funding pot of £40,000 for their campaign.
Once you've received your offer and accepted your offer, all charities again move on to the marketing and campaign phases of the process. The marketing just involves preparing for your campaign, preparing your socials, emails, etc., to get ready for that campaign week. Again, the campaign dates will be listed on the campaign information page on the website. For the 1-1 model charity, as they have £10,000 in their champion match funding pot, they will be seeking to raise £10,000 in online donations during the campaign week. The total amount that this charity would receive is £20,000 altogether. That's £10,000 from the online donations and £10,000 for the champion funds. Any additional donations will just count on top of that, along with gift aid.
Under the pledge model on the left-hand side, the charity, as mentioned before, has secured £20,000 of pledges and £20,000 of champion funds. This makes their match funding pot a total of £40,000, and they need to raise £40,000 during the campaign week to unlock all of those match funds from the pledges and champion funds. During the campaign, donations are first matched by the pledges, and once they're used up, donations are then matched by the champion funds. So in this example, the first £20,000 the charity receives in donations during the campaign will be matched by the pledges. And once they've been used up, the next set of donations up to £20,000 will be matched by the champion funds. In total, this charity would have raised £80,000, £40,000 from the donations, and then that has been matched by £20,000 from the pledges and £20,000 from the champion funds. But the campaign is not an all or nothing scenario. If you don't hit your target, whatever you do raise will still be matched. In this example, if the charity was to raise £35,000 in online donations, they would get £20,000 from the pledges and £15,000 from the champion funds. Conversely, if the charity raised £10,000 in online donations, their pledges are only liable to pay a prorated rate of £10,000 and they would not access the champion funds.
Once the campaign is finished, all charities will move on to the post-campaign phase. We will be sending you post-campaign actions to complete after the campaign via email, so you'll be aware of exactly what you need to do.
For charities who chose the pledge model, This is a stage where you'll be required to go out to your pledges and request payment of their pledges. Um, Big Give will ask you to then upload a proof of payment from your pledges. This can, for example, be a screenshot of your bank statement showing the pledge payment into your bank account. We will then need to verify this proof of payment before we can pay out the champion funds to you. For charities under the 1-1 model, you do not need to do this step. For charities that have applied under both models, we will notify you of your champion payment date. Thank you for listening to this explainer of how the multi-model system works. If you have any questions, you can visit our support hub on our website to find out answers to your questions or contact us directly.